it feels like we're going too fast or too slow, feel free to sound the alarm, and we will try to accommodate. Okay, so Chav Zayin Amud Aleph, and I just remind everyone, Sunday night there is a Kinyan Siyam. It's Sunday night, right? Mm-hmm. And I believe YCU Boys 6:45 they're having dessert reception, and we highly encourage everyone to attend. First of all, to honor them, participate in their simcha, and as well, it's a shtickle mishpacha all together over here. So we would love to see everyone, and I say we because I'll be there also. Amir Tashem. Go. Let's go. Chav Zayin Amud Aleph. Rebbe Eliezer Ohimir says Rebbe Eliezer, and again, as always, when it comes to Chazarah, we remind ourselves, and I mean that in honesty. I have this issue in my own life. Is that it's not just to read the words again, because at this point you can just read the words. So you just read the words, and you can be against the thing in a minute and a half. Point is to understand, to get clarity in the points that you don't understand, which is always the point of Chazarah, not to make the same mistakes you made the first time, and to gloss over the same problems as the first time. So says the Heilige Mishnah. Let's go. Rebbe Eliezer Oimer Arabo Esrei Su'udot Chayav Adam Le'achol B'Sukkah. A person is obligated to eat 14 meals in the Sukkah. Achas Bayoim V'achas Balaylo. One by day and one by night. V'chachamim Oimrim. No. Ein L'davar Kitzvah. There is no end in sight. As Rashi points out, you want to fast, you can fast. Just if you're going to eat, you have to eat in the sukkah. But is there an obligation to have a meal? No. Chutz, except for Milele Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, aside for the first day of Sukkot Bilvad alone.
Is the inning in the morning and the night? Or is it that you have to... Like we do Shabbos, we do Shal Shaddis sometimes, right after our meal you had to...
So you go to the Indian is day and night. By Shabbos is an extra pasuk, which we learned that you have a third meal. As we always point out, you should be happy we don't pass like Rav Chitzka, who else you need to have 4 Sudas in Shabbos, or maybe the opposite, some Chavra are thinking. But Lamaisa, one by day and one by night. One by day, one by night. Part A of the Mishnah. Part B of the Mishnah, V'oid. And furthermore, Amar Eliezer. Eliezer, excuse me. Mishlei Achal, one who did not eat. Leilei, Yom Tov HaRishon. One who did not eat on the first night. Yashlim, he is mashlim, he completes. Leilei Yom Tov HaAchron Shel Chag, on the night of the last day of Yom Tov. You missed it, you get a second chance. Pesach Sheni. You miss it, you get a second chance. V'chachamim ha'imrim, no. Ein l'davar tashlumim. There's no tashlumim. Not everything in life do we give you a second chance for. V'al zeh ne'emar. And on this it says, say the chachamim uves. Something that is crooked, lo yuchal etkon, cannot be fixed. V'chisaroin. Something that is lacking, lo yuchal yimanois, cannot be counted, cannot be complete. 2 parts in the Mishnah. Part A is the obligation. Part B is whether you can pay back. Says the Hilul Gemara.
Well, according to Rabbi Eliezer, why is it Misha Leila Rishon? Why
is it Leila unto Rishon?
Yeah.
As opposed to?
Any night.
Very good. Very good. That might have to do with when the Gemara is going to say that he is chayzer, but it is a good point. Right now, that we assume that Rabbi Eliezer is holding you 14 meals, why the first night you missed? You missed the third night. You missed the 7th night. You missed the 5th night. I can continue. But right now in the Mishnah, we don't know that. Because in the Mishnah, we know that Rav Eliezer holds 14, and we're about to say Rav Eliezer thinks in the Hava, all 14 are the rice.
Is he talking about the 7th day or the 8th day for Yasha?
Oh, very good. We're going to see in the Gemara. Yotav Achron Shel Chag means the 8th day, which means...
Because we said about Taisif, so it can't be this.
Oh, very good. Right. Into the Gemara. Beautiful. Very good. Still, no, so good. That's the Hakdama that we give. We have to pretend for a moment, Baruch Hashem, we're in Eretz Yisrael. We're all in the Heilig Eretz Yisrael.
The Mishnah, the 8th day.
We're about to get there. Hang on tight. The Gemara is about to discuss exactly what you're discussing. Says the Gemara, my time at the Rebbe Eliezer. Why does Rebbe Eliezer hold 14 meals? Yes, it is warm in here. I agree. Teishvu kein taduru. Says Rebbe Eliezer, another application of Teishvu kein taduru. Says in the Torah, Basukkahis, Teishvu, you shall sit, you shall be in a sukkah for 7 days. Says Rebbe Eliezer, thank you very much. Teishvu kein taduru, like you dwell in your house. Ma dira achas bayoim achas balayla. Just like in your house, every person here, of course, had one bread meal this morning, and a second, here we go, bread meal tonight. Av Sukkah, achas bayoim, achas balayla. That's Rav Eliezer. So daraisa, 14 meals. Chevra, they includes cholamayim, one at night and one by day, every single day. V'Rabbanan, the Rabbanan disagree. Say the Rabbanan, kedira. Say the Rabbanan, it's like a dira. Ma dira, just like in your house. I didn't wash this morning, I don't know about you. If you want, you eat, you don't eat. Av Sukkah nami, so to Sukkah as well. Just to point out, what is the depth of the machlekes between Rav Eliezer and the Chacham? It's like to think about, because they're both learning the same drasha. They're both agreeing that it's like a dira. It sounds almost like the Chachamim are just going one step further. What exactly is that nuance of machlekes is a point for everyone to think about. But asks the Gemara back on the Chachamim, if you want to eat, if you don't have to eat. You shouldn't even have to eat on the first night. Why do you, the Chachamim, say you have obligation on night number 1? Amar Rav Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yohitzadok. Nemar kan by Pesach Sukkis. Chamim out in front of me. Chamisha Asar v'nemar by Pesach. Chamisha Asar b'chag Hamat. Excuse me, I said it wrong. One more time. Never kan Chamisha Asar by Sukkis. Never Chamisha Asar b'chag Hamatzos. There it is. Malahalon by Matzos. Leilei Harishayin Chayva. The first night is obligatory. And Mekan ve'ilch rishos. Afghan, so too over here by Sukkot. Laila Rishon Chayva Mikan Ve'ilach Rishos. Beautiful. Parenthetically, the Gemara points out, how do you know on Pesach it's an obligation? Ve'hasam minalam there by Pesach, how do you know you're obligated on Markra? Be'erev Teichlu Matzos, in the evening you shall eat matzos. Hakasav, the Torah Kavu Chayva creates an obligation. So we have a fundamental machlekes of Eliezer and the Chachamim as to the obligation of eating sudais on Sukkot. Rav Eliezer says 14, Teshu Kein Taduru. The Chachamim says 0, because of Teshu Kein Taduru. Just, we have a new drasha from Pesach, Chamisha Asar Michag HaMatzos, which obligates you on the first night.
Didn't the Chum agree about the first night, though? Right. It's not 0.
Meaning, good. 0 due to Teshu Kein Taduru. 1 because the new drasha. I'm just pointing out the nuance in the drasha. Yes, you're correct.
If you bring dafka the new drasha, that has nothing to do with the dafka eating in Sukkah.
Yeah.
You're obligated to eat a meal on Shabbos.
Good.
Shabbos will fall out during Yom Tov at some
Good.
point. So that also is a meal that you're obligated to eat in
So
Sukkah.
therefore what?
Therefore, it's not just one meal that you're chayav to eat in Sukkah. Chayav to eat at least 3 meals.
Kiev is coming
If
on.
you have a
Yom
food,
Tov.
if you have a
Okay,
food,
okay.
then you have a
No,
third.
Shoot. No. In Al-Khalami, if it would be Shabbos, you would have 3. You would have 3. Meaning, but the Chachamim are learning.
Yeah, but they're bringing this. It's nothing to do with Sukkah. They're saying there's a
on the
15th. There's a Zayd Gazah that you
yeah,
need.
correct. You
So
should
same thing
know,
here.
if you want to glance at Taisus
That's what I think
he brings out the Yerushalmi, and he wants to say maybe all the dinim, the previous one, maybe all the dinim apply, he wants to say. What does that mean? Maybe the first night of Sukkot, you have to have a din of a kazayis of bread. Just like on Pesach. If it's a real drasha, how far? Taisus of VR to Yerushalmi gets a little wild how far you have to go with it. But Ein Hachanami, I do believe, I don't remember right now, but I do believe that even La Halacha, there is something about the first night of Sukkot is having more of a chiv of a kazayis. I think we do all this drasha sometimes. Okay, let's continue. Says the Hiliga Gemara Va'id Amar Rav Elazar. However, there's still more matzah. Whoever didn't have their kazayis yet. Va'id Amar Rav Eliezer. There's furthermore it says Rav Eliezer. One more time. Va'id Amar Rav Eliezer. Rav Eliezer continues as a din in Tashlumin. Asks the Gemara. We're going to incorporate the pshat we said over after shir last night into the Gemara to hopefully add beautiful clarity to the Sukkah. Asks the Gemara of Rav Eliezer. Rav Eliezer, hold out about you have to eat 14 meals. Rav Yoni, this is what you were pointing out. One a day and one a night. So what's the question? Rav Eliezer just said, if you miss one meal, you're mashlim on day number 8. The way that Rashi explains the Gemara's Kash is, how can you be mashlim on day number 8? Where are you on day number 8 in Eretz Yisrael? We're not getting involved in the machlekes shmini atzeres. Yes, sukkah, no sukkah. Do not take what I'm saying as halacha. We'll have to yell about that sukkah time. But in Eretz Yisrael, we all agree that you're not in the sukkah on shmini atzeres. So frak the Gemara. Is the patient alive? Okay, you're muted. Thank you, I'm sorry. Says the Gemara, hope the patient's okay. We'll learn B'schusa. Says the Gemara that how are you being mashlim? How are you making up that which you did on the 8th day? There's no chiyuv sukkah on the 8th day. So if you go into the sukkah to be mashlim, Bal Taisif, what are you doing inside the sukkah? That is the kasha of the Gemara. Let's take the kasha one step deeper. The Gemara assumes that because Rav Eliezer holds you have to eat 14 meals, that means Rav Eliezer holds that there's an intrinsic connection, this is the point they're adding on, between the obligation of the Suda and the Sukkah. Why? Because what did Rav Eliezer learn? What was his Makar? Sukkah is Teishvu. So he learns that the Makar is a Sukkah Tikadin. They need to have 14 meals. So I asked the Gemara, 14 meals, beautiful. So you missed one, you only got 13. You want to make it up, no problem. Where are you going to make it up? You have to make it up in the Sukkah. But how can you go into the Sukkah on Shmini Atzeres? It's not Yantif. Bal Toiseh. Answers the Gemara. Omar Bira. What a wonderful name. Omar Bira. You know it's a good name, and Rashi points out, it's a Shem Chacham, don't get confused. Omar Bira. Omar Ravami. Chazar Boy Rav Eliezer. He was Chayzer. So what does Rav Eliezer hold? How many meals? Not 14. How many meals? 1. And if you miss that 1, you can make it up. How do we answer the question? I Bal Taisif. You're not allowed to eat in the sukkah on the 8th night. So what's the answer? If he's chayzer to hold like the chachamim, you know what that means? He now holds that the obligation to eat the suda has nothing to do with the sukkah. It's an obligation. Chamish asar b'chag Pesach. You have an obligation to eat a meal. So now you got to make up that obligation. How do you make it up? Make it up. I don't care where you do it. Don't even do it in the sukkah. That's going to be the chiddush according to the answer of the Gemara. Are we all good so far?
You can't make it up during the day?
You can make it up on the 8th day at any time. Or I can make it up on Yom Tov itself. Now that's a good question. That's a good question, which we didn't really deal with.
Because he said night, morning. Night,
So why can't you just have a third meal? Why can't you just have a third meal?
You missed the meal, so it's not even a third meal.
No, well, not, let's say the next day.
Maybe the Indian is on that night for that night.
It's a
on
good
that
question.
morning for that
It's a good
night.
question.
Until you can make it up until.
Otherwise, why can he have all 14 meals? Like
I would have
within
thought
the
that
first 2
also,
days?
but we see from the Gemara not. Because if that was the case, the Gemara wouldn't ask why you make it up on the 8th night. But it is a point that the Mefarshim
Then
discussed.
then you could just do like 7 meals, like in one day, 7 meals in the second day.
You
You're
should
like,
know.
I'm good for the next 5.
I'll tell you a fascinating thing. On
That
Shabbos,
would've been the
on Shabbos, we have a chiyuv to eat 3 meals, right? Those 3 meals, we eat 1 at night and 2 by day. But the chiyuv is 3 meals on Shabbos. So let's say someone misses the Friday night meal. How could that happen? It happens. Well, the case we'll give is that Purim's on Friday. That's the excuse that we'll give. Purim's on a Friday, and your Purim Suda went, and it ended, and you wake up Shabbos morning, and oh shoot, you missed your Friday night meal. So what do? Fascinating what you do right now. You got to make Kiddush, whole Geshmak Adin. You know what else you have to do? After you get over the Geshmak Kite that you're making Kiddush on Shabbos morning, you got to eat 3 meals right now. You got to eat 3 meals. Usually at that stage, you're really not so interested, so, sorry. Right, says the Gemara.
Where's the Inyan of Tashlumin learned from? Is it learned from
so,
Karbanis?
very good. So it's a very interesting point that the Gemara doesn't deal with that. The Gemara takes for granted, Tashlumim, and move on. Takes for granted and move on. The Rishonim that want to say, like you're saying, that just like by a carbon, you can make it on the 8th day, even though it's not Yontif. I'll tell you something more cool. In Shavuos, I'm sure we're not going to say Tachlan after Yontif for the next 5 days. Why are we not saying Tachlan for the next 5 days? Why? So you're like, I don't care, we don't say Tachlan. What's the reason, Rabbi? We're not saying Tachlan. The reason is because it's the din of Tashlumim. The din is if you missed your carbon on Shavuos, you can make it up for the next 5 days. Make it up. You show up to the base in English 4 days after Shavuos with your carbon, you're being Oile Regel, Rabbi Yid. It's not Shavuos anymore. That's the Chiddush of Tashlumim. So you're right. And that is the Makar, and that's the reason why you could pay it back when it's not Yontif. The Gemara's problem was, but it's Shmini Atzeres, how are you going to the Sukkah? Very good. Let's move on, cause it's getting late. And the other reason is that the chicken is dwindling. We all know when that's done, we're going to be done. So let's go. Mashlim b'mai. How are you being mashlim? Or better, not how. With what? With what? Ilema berifta. If you're going to have bread, suda diyaymakachil. Meaning, you're having bread on the 8th day. Ask the Gemara Shkayach. What does it help you? The 8th day, you have anyways an obligation to have bread. You're suda of Shmini Atzeres. So what does it help now to have another meal? You're at your regular Yom Tov meal. Elamai. Yashlim b'minei targima. You make it up with extra delicacies. Tanam Yachi, the Gemara concludes, Im Hishlim, if you're going to make it up, b'minei targima, yatsa. I will parenthetically point out, the Gemara does not delve deeper into this din, but it's just interesting. I just told you if you miss your Friday night meal, you have 3 meal Shabbos day. So why is the Gemara so bothered by having a bread meal on Shmini Atzeres? What's the big deal? Have 2 meals. Finished. What's the big deal?
Maybe the Indian is Sukkah. Like the whole Indian.
Oh, so good.
Sukkah.
So the answer is, you're right. This is going to go back to the way that we explain that Gemara, and you're going to have to get taste to figure out what exactly are we doing. Correct. If it's because you're eating the Sukkah, then maybe yeah, maybe no. Very good. Okay, let's get to it.
It's not washing.
So how you yaitz it?
Yeah.
So good. The Chassidim all say, "What do you mean? Shalashidis, Ashteg Feri," and we're good to go. But yeah, no. So there's other pshatim in what meaning targima means. Let's continue. Shoyel abitropis. Sorry.
What if somebody doesn't eat a sukkah? Let's say, I don't know, fruit. We already said it.
Oh, so that good. Very good. Rishus is bringing out even a better point. Not better than what we were saying. Is that meaning targima? What are you eating? You're eating delicacies. What delicacies? So Rashi says. Versus peiros. 1 second. So you're making up your chiyuv of the first night of Yom Tif with what? An apple that doesn't even need a sukkah. Hashem Yirachem. Give out the good question. Thank you. Shal, it's a good question. Let me show you get about this.
You missed it anyway. So
yeah, listen. You missed the carbon Pesach Rishon. What do you bring? A good fat gishmak of Pesach Sheni. We don't tell you. You know what I'm saying? Zokah Kippur tell. No, like Rabbi Kogi. The patient's okay. Baruch Hashem. Okay, Givaldi. There's still some chicken for you.
So it says Suda, Lashon Suda.
Yeah. This is the Shvarkat. I'm agreeing with all of you. Again, some go so far that the Gemara just means, as we're about to see in a moment, it just means have extra delicacies so your stomach opens up and then you want to eat more. But okay, it's difficult. Shal Abitropis. The Abitropis asks, Shal Agrippas HaMelech, the Abitropis, the attendant of Agrippas HaMelech, he was the the shamish, the attendant, the butler, the maid, whatever you want to call him. He asked as Rabbi Eliezer, I eat 1 meal a day. Rabbi, can I have 1 meal and be Yitzhak? Rabbi Eliezer, you hold 2 meals. And we're all parenthetically here screaming, Rabbi Eliezer, what's chayzer? What's going on here? Good catch. But whatever the Gemara means. Gemara means whatever it means. They asked Rabbi Eliezer, what's going on? We can have 1 meal? Amar Eloi, you big geshmaka bal taiva. B'chol yoim v'yoim every day. Atamam shech. I watch you, Agrippas. I see what you eat every day. Atamam shech. Kamer babar is l'chayv atzmcha for your own sake, for your own big fat belly. You eat. Achshav yatamam shech babaris echel lekavi kanecha. You're not going to have 1 extra delicacy for your creator. What was the answer? It's also a good line in the Gemara, one of the better lines.
It's like number 3.
So some want to tie connects with the previous Gemara, means he creates then your Suda with a barbarous. Other ones say, no, he was just giving him a gishmak zug. What he really meant is, eat a little bit, and then you'll be able to wash. You know what I'm saying? Don't come here for your kulas, buddy. Go and have a good fat gishmak meal, but that's another way of learning Rosh Hashanah.
You're anyway eating appetizers, just don't eat appetizers, eat another meal.
Yeah, maybe that's what he means. He's sticking it to him. Now, how do you learn it? Do we shine him?
Don't be lazy. You're doing it right. You're not going to do it.
In other words, he said, I only have 1 meal. He's like, you have 1 meal. It's not washing, but
every option.
Your 1 meal goes for 6 hours.
Exactly. He was saying, like I said last time,
you didn't bench because you've been eating
the whole time. You're rugged to have 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, whatever you're rugged to have, that's what you have to eat in the sukkah. That's what you should be eating.
That was his kasha. What was the answer, though?
No, because he's saying that I only eat one meal. He's telling you no.
Oh, you eat more.
But the dessert's not a soup.
Interesting. Okay, let's wrap it up.
That's what he's saying.
Vaishalu. When they ask further, Kegoinani. Sheish li shtei nashim. He has 2 wives. Achas b'teveria, achas b'tzibayri. One in Teveria, one in Tzibayri. Shtei sukkahs, and I have 2 sukkahs. Achas b'teveria, achas b'tzibayri. Bao sheiti me sukkah l'sukkah. Can I go from one sukkah to the next? V'patar amar loy mitanale. Why not? Shani Yomer, because Rabbi Eliezer hold a chiddush. Because he found the wrong rabbit ass. Genius. The one time, the ganze chachamim, and you went as Rabbi Eliezer, you tippish. Anyways, Shani Yomer, kol hayoytze me sukkah l'sukkah, batal mitzvasa shel rishayna. Not only a unique chiddush that we're about to speak on in a second, Rabbi Eliezer holds you have 1 sukkah for 7 days. And if you have one sukkah for 3 and one for 4, not only do you not have 4, you have nothing, you don't even have 3, the whole thing blows up in your face. What's the makar for this? Rabbi Eliezer, Tani, we went to the Bryce, Rabbi Eliezer, Amir says Rabbi Eliezer. And you have to be sukkah to sukkah, now let go from one sukkah to the next. Now let make a sukkah cholamayit. Chachamim argue. You have to be sukkah to sukkah, you're allowed to. And Vishabin, they all agree. Shem Nafl, if it falls down, so now let's deal with all 3 dinim we just said. Number 1, you're not allowed to go from sukkah to sukkah or yasei the chachamim. Number 2, you can't build the sukkah cholamayit or yasei the chachamim. And they all agree if it falls, you can rebuild it. My time says the Gemara. Rabbi Eliezer Amar Krachag Sukkah is Dazel Chashivas Yamim Asei Sukkah. And we say the word ra'i here doesn't mean ra'i like we think. Doesn't mean it has to be able to stand, because that's not the nikudas, that's not the point they're debating. Ra'uya here means, as the Mefarshim on the side say, l'shem 7 days. It has to be for 7 days. V'rabanan hachikam arachman. They argue, no, you got it wrong. You read the pasuk wrong. Asay sukkah b'chag. Make a sukkah however you want. It just means any of the 7 days. V'shavan, they all agree. Shem nafla v'fol shechayzer b'ayna yisab v'chol shamayid. Pshita, what's the chiddush? Of course you can rebuild it. Why would Rabbi Eliezer say no? It fell, and now it's a new one. And you would think that it's not called being there for 7 days. It's the same wood. It's the same canvas. The Havamina would have been. No, it fell, and you rebuilt it. It's a nayazach. Kamash Malon, the Rabbi Eliezer holds it is okay. Okay. We're basically done. This is the last night's Gemara. I'm going to run through this in about 90 seconds because it's very late. We're just going to be 8 to 9 the Chazarah, but we're going to do this fast. Everyone, hold on tight. Tanya, here we go. Tanya, Rabbi Eliezer, you can use your friend's lulav. Why not? And we darshin l'kachtem lochem. Mishal lochem. Kach so too, and now them yoytzi chbos b'sukkah shachaveroy. Chedish Rabbi Eliezer. D'chsev chag sukkah saz l'choshev yamim. Mishalach tasel l'cha. It has to be your own. The Chacham, of course, disagree, and they say, "I'm not mishamim and the yoytzi chbos b'yam to reach in the lulav shachaveroy." That didn't I agree with you. The din that the lulav has to be yours. I'm asking. Aval yoytzi chbos b'sukkah shachaveroy. You could be yoytzi to your friend's sukkah. Why? Says the Chacham and d'chsev kol ezrach b'Yisrael yeshu b'sukkahis. Everyone can sit in the sukkah. Melhamid. Shegad's Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael run leishiv b'sukkah hachas. V'rabbanim, what do they do with Rabbi Eliezer? It's pasuk haylu chomed arshibei. Mibai lei, excuse me. Lemeutei gezula. Aval sheula, they're masking. Ksiv kol ezrach yikudu. Rabbi Eliezer, hi kol ezrach. What does Rabbi Eliezer do with the pasuk kol ezrach? Mibai lei gersh and it's gar being time and it's gadol being tayim that they're allowed because now they're part of Klal Yisrael. Allowed to build the sukkah. V'rabbanim. Once they hold the allowed to build the sukkah, there's never a havamim that you can't do for the guy. Really, have 25 more seconds. Why does that mean when it says Kol Ezra? What does it mean?